How's it going out there, YouTube? My name is Jesse, and I am the curator for the Golden Age, and this is another
Lost Heroes of the Golden Age.
Yes, this is Lost Heroes of the Golden Age, and this time we are doing...
Just what is it you think you're doing?
What do you mean?
It's not May yet.
I know it's not May yet. What does that have to do with what we're doing right now?
You said you were picking a random character before Ace Month.
Technically, I did, because he's a one-and-done character.
You can't start the month early.
We can... First of all, I'm setting up my month, so I can do it early if I want to. Second of all, we did it with Timely last year. I think I started 2 months early on that. But this was the character that I wanted to cover to close out April.
Got a familiar look to him.
Yeah, he does. What we're doing is we're going to be doing Captain Victory. He was a one-and-done character, and it's kind of weird. I don't know why he was one and done, and he looks like Captain Courageous. Now, I think maybe he was supposed to. And if this was another publication using a superhero with a star as a mask, I can dismiss that as in saying, well, this publication wanted to do it too. But you're the same publication using the same kind of mask for the same character, shaped almost the exact same way. I mean, the odds that you're just going to have two characters that look so similar, I think it was supposed to be. And then they decided to switch it, or someone said, I don't want that. And that might have actually been the reason that it was only one issue that he appeared in, because reasons that I just suggested. So, he is a one-and-done hero. He looks like Captain Courageous in sense. He's got the same kind of powers, which makes me think that they were originally supposed to be each other, and someone put the kibosh on it at the last minute. Also, the creator for this is unknown. So let's go ahead and do a quick intro, and then we're going to cover the story. It is a sizable story. So, you saw the minute count of this video before you clicked on it. So let's go ahead and get into Captain Victory. Captain Victory, real name Jack Wilson, first appeared in Our Flag Comics #1 in 1941. The original publisher is Ace. The created by is unknown. Since he's only a one and done, we're not going to do a long intro into this. Captain Victory, when I first saw him, I thought he was Captain Courageous in a different color costume. I mean, look at this. What are the chances that two different heroes of two different names would be wearing a star for a mask? I'm wondering if this actually was supposed to be Captain Courageous, and the creator said, I don't think so, and then they renamed him Captain Victory. I mean, the powers are very similar. He has a measure of super strength and agility and can fly. I mean, there's nothing else. And he fights for America. Apparently, though, he's fighting in a foreign country, and you'll see. It's weird. So, like I said, there's not a lot to go into. It's a one and done. So, let's go ahead and review Captain Victory. Oh, just a side note, I think that they may have intended to do more issues, because they do say that Captain Victory does appear in the next issue. I don't know if it was just too many patriotic superheroes at the time, which there are lots. There are even more than I realized, or whether the idea just wasn't compelling enough, or whether he was just supposed to be a Captain Courageous. Doesn't appear anymore, even though he said he was going to. Captain Victory, and we have a nice little splash page here of just showing his tremendous strength. Captain Victory, champion of democracy and super warrior, all alone with no weapons save his tremendous strength and agility. He battles the destructive war forces of the dictator nations. Here is the nation's new hero, Captain Victory, king of battle. Why did you call him super warrior? I don't like that. I now turn over the speakers speaker dais to Mr. Langston, the U.S. ambassador, which shows that we're not in the U.S. This story doesn't take place in the U.S. The repeated objection to my country's plea for the united stand against the fascist nations by the Western Hemisphere has been that the U.S. is not in a position to do its part in the case of an emergency. So the Western Hemisphere doesn't want to unite with the U.S. because they think in a state of emergency the U.S. wouldn't be able to help them. And he says, well, we're going to show a demonstration of our force by doing a flyover with 200 flying fortresses. Now, I actually thought that was going to be really cool until I saw the planes, and I was like, I was actually thinking like massive Bohemian aircrafts. But I mean, I guess for the times, these planes would be fine. That afternoon, on the roof of a building which the Congress is being held, Jack Wilson, young American diplomat attaché, and others watched for a goodwill flight. Now we see our hero, Jack Wilson, speaking to a random guy, and then we see two conspirators over there. Is exceedingly well, Count Razing. Honorable fool Americans are in for unpleasant surprise. So we see that there are Nazi conspirators in there, and they said that it's good that they got the intel on the flyover because they have plans in place. If you ask me, equipment like that can stand off any new enemy attack as they are flying the planes over. Very impressive. Maybe we should unite with America, America at that. And then explosion starts happening, and some people say that it looks like the planes are dropping bombs. Why did his hand have to go outside of the panel? That literally served no purpose. And then another one says that the Americans are bombing the city. Again and again, the city is rocked by terrific explosions as the planes fly over it. You see, goodwill flight. Bah! The Americans are attacking this country, dropping the bomb. Break regulations at once. Sign up with the Fuhrer instead. They really went with the V's, didn't they? So the Baron is there to try to show that the Americans are being duplicitous. And, our hero is going to figure this out. Now, as he runs off to go change his costume, I guess he's supposed to be Japanese, but he's not yellow. But they gave him the Japanese features that you would commonly see associated with that time. There, gentlemen, is an example of American courage. The young, honorable attaché rushes to safety. Okay, you're assuming that bombs are being dropped from aircrafts. Who is not going to run for safety? You're on top of a building. You're a prime target. You should all be running for safety at this point. So he goes to the room and he changes into the form of Captain Victory, which looks like Captain Courageous. So as the planes are flying, he jumps out the window to land on the wing of one of the planes. Look, it's Captain Victory. Yeah, that it's just the way. Hey, Captain Victory, how you doing? So they're trying to figure out what's going on down there. What are all these explosions? That's what I came to ask you. I came up here for a friendly chat. So he's trying to figure out why they're dropping bombs. And he's like, we're unarmed. Why in a demonstration flyover would we have any ordnance on board? And before I read that, I was thinking, and then I was sitting there thinking, like, that's a really good point. Why would demonstration planes be armed? They're not expecting to go into war. So the ground forces are getting ready to start taking out the aircrafts because, they're pitting them against each other. And this is where we finally get an idea of where they're at. The Centrevalians have started in with their anti-aircrafts. They'll destroy these planes unless I stop them. Centrevalians. So apparently they're in the country of Central. There's no other way to interpret that. So Captain Victory goes down there and tells them to stop firing at the planes. Captain, I can't believe those planes are not dropping bombs. However, you'll have to believe me. I can't let you shoot down the planes. They're like, well, look, we're going to shoot down these planes anyways because the bombs are happening. So he grabs the anti-aircraft gun and he runs off with it. Just like you're taking a stick away from a boy. I'm going to take this gun until you guys can learn how to use it. So he takes the gun and sets it some distance away and starts heading back to the battle. I really hate short shorts on male superheroes. It just doesn't look right. So as he's rushing back, this young lady decides to make herself known. Captain Victory. Why? It's Marcia Lopez, daughter of the Centralvalian's foreign minister. Not recognizing Captain Victory as Jake Wilson. Does she even know who Jake Wilson is? She pours out her story. I know the cause of the explosions, but I was afraid to speak before. And she is talking about the Nazis and Japs. It's the 40s. We have to go with that. Worked to discredit America. They want control here. They have a base already at Concho Island. And before she's able to get out the explanations of what's going on, someone shoots her in the street. These men are over here. We can't fight Captain Victory. Run. We'll ditch him, double back, and make sure the Lopez girl is dead. You guys don't look like conspirators. You look like... Well, you look like congressmen, so maybe you are conspirators. They vanished. I better get back to the girl. She's gone too. Well, they did exactly what they planned. So Captain Victory starts to help the people around by clearing out the rubble. The paneling here is kind of weird. I mean, you got to kind of read it and imagine that everything is actually happening at once. Not a sequence of events, but all the events are transpiring at once. See, meanwhile, at Congress, it's all going on at the same time. Due to the unexpected explosions that have wrecked the city, the Congress will be adjourned until tomorrow. I guess that finishes America's hope for fighting Western Hemisphere. Very stupid of them. You don't know that. You're just making assumptions. Okay, so I wonder what will happen to the American attaché, Jack Wilson. He is probably covering territory somewhere. So after several hours of helping the people who have been rocked by the explosions, he decides to go to the island where the base was at, that he was informed about. Marcia has the right dope. The right dope? Why couldn't you just say the right information? Hey, she's got the good weed. Okay, and he sees a couple of Nazis guarding, stop or we'll shoot. So he pushes them out of the way and he's not letting them stop, and he rips open the side of the fortress, and I mean, it's just showing off some of the strength that he possesses. It's like, I think he ripped open, it's a very poor steel these Nazis use. Yeah, he rips open a steel wall. Now, apparently this was at night, and a lot of people are getting woke up. You can see them jumping out of bed. And they all come and descend upon him, and it looks like his mask was slipping. And as they charge him, he starts to beat up all the Nazis. I'm going to tell the Fuhrer on you. Good. I'm going to tattle. You can give Adolf this kiss from me too, and punches him in the face. Now, while he is taking care of this Nazi base, there is something else going on the other side of the island. Here comes the 2 U.S. warships on the way to the Panama Canal. We will board them when they dock. So when the ships come into port, they are overwhelmed by Nazi forces, and they take over the battleships and tell the crew that they're going to be prisoners of war and that they're marching them to the brig. A few minutes later, the 2 American battleships steam out of the harbor, again, now in enemy hands. Called out the reserves, the armored cars, and the guns. That wild man Victory has just destroyed another regiment. So he's still beating up everybody in this camp, and his strength is tremendous here. He picks up one of the armored tanks, flies up into the sky, and then throws it at a whole regiment of troops. And then you see this picture of it crashing down and people falling over. It just shows the amazing strength. And now I'll just borrow this for a minute. And he rips off one of the turret guns and he unloads on them. He is taking them out with the turret gun. And you can just see the scene of carnage of all these bodies laying there. It was a good fight, Ma, and I won. Now to look around this Nazi outpost. It's a good fight. You threw a tank at them and slaughtered them with a gun. And that wasn't a good fight. You just massacred them. You could say it was a good slaughter, but they didn't fight you. You devastated everybody. But unknown to Captain Victory, two Nazi soldiers remain. Well, if they were hiding. So you're telling me he took out an entire base of Nazi soldiers except for 2 people. And this is ridiculous. He's flying. He's super strong. He's been able to just basically wreak havoc all he wants. And 2 soldiers take him down. That was a good idea, Herman. The chloroform got him. They're hitting him on the head. They're using chloroform, and they knock him out. This is completely inconceivable, and it's completely ridiculous. But they drug him, and they throw him into the pit with, lock him in the dungeon with the girl. And this is weird. Captain Victory is far more of a threat than the girl is. They just throw him in with no binds and no restraints, yet she is tied up. So the one who is more dangerous is the one that they don't put any bindings on at all. While Captain Victory lies unconscious in the dungeon cell, the 2 captured battleships enter the Central Valian port where Congress is being held. And this is the area that just got hit with the bombs earlier, which we found out was actually explosions in the ground that made it look like the U.S. was bombing them. So people are looking on and they see that these were the new American battleships that were launched by the U.S. They don't know that the Nazis have taken them over. So they start shooting up the entire town, and this is also part of their plan to discredit the Americans. This is the finale. Those must be the American warships. No other battleships are doing these parts. First they bomb us with a goodwill flight, and now this. Nazis and Japanese envoys are taking full advantage of the situation. So they're trying to discredit Americans so that they team up with the Nazis against the U.S. the same way the Japanese have. Okay, so they're telling the commander of the ship, Captain Connors are nearing the Panama Canal. You will take over the bridge. Nothing doing. You are stuck. You are mistaken, and you will do as we say. Or these 2 ships will be scuttled with all of your seamen chained aboard. So basically they're telling us, Captain, you either do what we want you to, or we're going to sink your ship with all your men on it. And so the American commanders are forced to take over the bridge until the boats are through the Panama Canal. So they go through the canal. At the first sign of trouble, throw these men below, and will blow the boats up. And not only destroy, but block up the canal as they got us. So basically, he's also telling the commanders, if you try to pull anything, we're going to throw your men overboard and blow up your ship. With no further trouble, the Nazis' commanders get the captured vessels out into the Pacific. I can't read today. Further out in the Pacific, where 2 main U.S. fleets are awaiting the 2 new ships to join, strange things are beginning to happen. What do you make of it, sir? I don't know. The Jap fleet... God, why... Fleet is trailing behind us in battle formation. They refuse to answer any of our communications. The Americans seem nervous, Admiral Kitcha. Haha. This is well that they do, they will soon be in even more so. So we see that the Japanese are in attack formation and the Americans don't know why, because at current strength, this is a zero-sum game at the moment. But what they don't know is that the U.S. battleships that are coming in are commanded by the enemy. So they're trying to figure out what's going on. What sort of chance would they have if they came to a scrap, sir? Not so good. Their ships, for the most part, are more modern than ours. We'll need those two new ships. I wish they'd hurry. So they see the ships coming in, and they think that it's the ships with Americans on it, and that they're going to be able to stop the Japanese from coming in. Everyone must have gone crazy. They're shooting at us, our own fleet. So the Nazis unload on one of the battleships along with the Japanese, and they put one of the battleships completely out of commission. I mean, how are they supposed to fight that? Meanwhile, back in Concho, it looks like Captain Victory has revived. If what you say is true about the Nazis taking over the two new ships, I'll have to hustle. Yes, according to what they planned, they're out in the Pacific attacking the American fleet right now. Wow, your timing is incredible. I mean, you knew. It, thrown inside a cell where you have no concept of day and night, you knew that they were being attacked right now. Okay, so he grabs the girl and he flies out of the tunnel like it wasn't even an issue, dropping Marcia off at Central Voilo. Captain Victory then speeds towards the Pacific. So, I mean, for those who don't know if he can fly, he's flying. I mean, he's not leaping across ponds or areas just to get out there. He's flying over the Pacific, and then he flies into this hole. I can get right inside in a hurry through this shell hole. I'm just going to let that go. Captain Victory has crashed the ship. Get him. I haven't time to fool with these mugs. So he picks up this large piece of steel, which I don't know why there just happens to be a large piece of steel in a convenient location for him. And he throws it at the bad guys. They're all dead too. This thing has got to be monumentally heavy, and you just crushed. I mean, it hit them in the chest. So you crushed their bones, shattered their rib cage, and probably punctured their lungs. But they're not going to say all that. I mean, yeah, they're crying out in pain. Thank goodness you got here to help us, Captain Victory. Wait a minute, why is that in a bubble or in a text box? That should be in a word bubble. I'll leave you the pleasure of retaking your ship. I've got other things to do. And then he knocks off the top of the Japanese ship, and they put up Japanese letterings. I don't know if it's trying to be offensive or not. Same to you guys. You speak Japanese? I'll take a big needle to sew up that hole. That was an unnecessary thing to say. Let's see what's next. Haha! I'll just borrow this little steel toothpick. So he goes over to one of the other Japanese ships and rips off their antenna mast and sinks the ship with it. Let's see if I can ring the bell with this smack. Some of these one-liners, man. A few minutes later, with the combined efforts of the American fleet and Captain Victory, the remaining of the Japanese fleet flees. So long, you Japanese beetles? I'm assuming it's an offensive term, but I'm not exactly sure how. I mean, it's obviously an insult, but Japanese beetles? Am I missing a slang term here? The next day at Congress, Jack Wilson. Where have you been the last few days? Just sort of messing around. Hey, the city was being bombed and we were under attack, but I was just messing around. And so I am pleased to announce that the Congress has decided our Western Hemisphere will unite in a firm stand against the fascist aggressors. Yes, Central Valia is uniting. Hooray! Viva the Americas! You forgot the United States of America. Captain Victory has just begun. Watch for him in the next issue. Captain Victory has also ended. He will not be in the next issue. Well, I hope you liked this video. I hope it's a great way to start into Ace Month. There are a couple of characters in here that I wanted to definitely cover before, but we're getting to them now. And I do believe this month will be the last time we do Ace characters. After that, they just got characters that you see all over the Golden Age: detective stories, crime stories, military stories. I mean, nothing superhero related. So, I hope you enjoyed the entry, and let's get Ace Month started. And until next time, I'll be seeing you.